Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today I'm going to bring you my spoiler-free review of The Hero of Ages written by Brandon Sanderson. The Hero of Ages is the third and final book of the Mistborn trilogy, and this was the very last book that I ended up finishing up for the year of 2018. Just so you know, this is a spoiler-free review, but this is going to have some spoilers for the other books because it's just really impossible to do these without spoiling your first two books in the series. If you have not read any of those, go ahead and watch my other two reviews. They are already up on my channel. That will also be linked for you down below. So here we are, The Hero of Ages. So in the Final Empire, Vin has defeated the Lord Ruler. Great, everything should be great. But then in the Well of Ascension, there is now this power vacuum, this leadership vacuum that has been left in the place of the Lord Ruler's death. We have Vin, we have Elend, we have Sazed, all battling this internal political battle with the other prominent figures. We have like our power couple, Vin and Elend, are trying to save the world. The different cities of the Central Dominance creating their own forms of government. We have new leaders rising up who are rebelling against Elend, and he's trying to bring everyone into the fold because as Vin and Elend have discovered from him being turned into a Mistborn, there is something much larger and sinister at work that they accidentally released at the Well of Ascension. While they're on the surface level trying to quell any rebellions, underneath it all, they're trying to figure out what did the Lord Ruler mean upon his deathbed when Vin killed him. What did he mean by you have no idea what you've done, you have no idea what you've released, you have no idea what's at stake here, and they're desperately trying to uncover any clues, they're desperately trying to uncover any supplies. The mists are back, the mists are in full force, the ash mounts have been going crazy, there's been earthquakes everywhere, the world is pretty much gone to hell, and we have our power couple trying to save the day. So the world building in this, if you haven't already been in love with the world building from the first two books, this one expands the Central Dominance and our knowledge of the characters because we start learning more about the different races and we start taking our focus away from the Mistborn and the Mistings and the Skaw Rebellion. You would think at this point in the story our focus would definitely be more on the Mistborn people, but no, for the world building in this, we were learning so much more history than I anticipated. I feel like through this whole trilogy, The Hero of Ages, this whole trilogy was told, like the story was told in reverse. This was all the background knowledge, all the history that we might not have focused as much on in the first two because we were so focused on the Mistborn themselves, the Allomantic powers, we were so focused on Vin and her storyline that this world building just exploded because we were able to wrap our minds around the different races, including the Kandra. We were able to wrap our minds around the Colossus. We were able to wrap our minds around what the heck the Inquisitors are. Another thing that I liked about the world building in this one is it brought me back to some of the feelings that I had about the Final Empire. There was a lot of description about the mists in Luthadel, and now here in The Hero of Ages, the mists are back in full force, and what exactly are people's experiences out in the mists, the ash mounts, the ash fall, that kind of feeling that we got from the Final Empire as well. I felt like we lost a little bit of that atmosphere inside the Well of Ascension, but then this was brought right back where the ashfall has become way too much. Towns and cities and houses that are being abandoned are being just completely covered in ash, and I think that's just such an important part to this whole trilogy that I'm really happy to see that we got this piece of ash and mist back inside The Hero of Ages. Believe it or not, inside this final book, there's also new magic that we're learning about. We're learning the history of the Colossus and the Kandra and how all these things piece together. I just feel like this was the book that I was missing all along when I was reading The Well of Ascension because of just how many important pieces of information that we were given in this book. So, believe it or not, there are some new characters that we do follow. We still follow Vin, we still follow Elend, and we still follow Sazed. Those are our three main character perspectives that we read about. But we do also read about Tensoon. He is one of our Kandra characters. We did meet him briefly in the Well of Ascension, and then Tensoon does become a really important focus for this book. My favorite new character perspective to read about because I just found the myth of the Kandra to be really exciting and really new. He won me over. Tensoon won me over. And then of course Spook is our other new main perspective that we end up following. He, to me, took the place of Zane from the Well of Ascension, of just this person who's piecing together things for himself. He looks up so much to the original crew who followed Kelsier from book 1. He was a young boy in the Final Empire, and now as the time has come on, he's becoming a man. He's trying to take responsibility for things, and will the plans that he wants to enforce, will they be the right choices? Will they not be the right choices? He was just a really fun member for us to harken back to some of that original misting crew that was underneath Kelsier's tutelage and knowledge. He was young and he was exciting and he was questioning a lot of different things. So he was another really important character perspective in this book, and I'm glad we got to follow him. It's always hard to do these spoiler-free reviews for the third and final book, but I will say that the conclusion of this book did answer a lot of the questions that I had left from the Well of Ascension. This story on its own, and then this story as the conclusion to a trilogy, I felt that this was really strong. This was a 4-star read for me. I think for the different journeys that our characters have gone on through this whole trilogy, I really feel like this ending was a great conclusion. I felt like it was appropriate. I felt like it fit. I was really nervous going into this book because of my dissatisfaction with the Well of Ascension, but everything that we read about in here, all of the conclusions, all of the answers that we were given, I felt was really appropriate for the way that the story built up to this final book. So 4 out of 5-star recommendation for me. If you've read this book, I do have my spoiler-filled review, so let's get to that one. If you haven't read this book, go ahead and leave some comments in the comment section below. Let me know when you plan on getting to this book. And Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, those links are always down below. You know how these videos end. Let's get to the spoilers.